Hey, welcome back to Sauce and Stuff. I'm Seth Tucker. I'm your host. Today I thought since you're coming into barbecue season, all that kind of stuff, I would talk about chili because chili pairs well with hot dogs or by itself or on baked potatoes or with rice or with any dish. Chili plus tortilla chips, nachos. So I have decided that today that's what we'll make. Now, let me go to the stove. For my chili, I start and I go ahead and this is just 10 ground beef. I give it a little bit of a brown on it because it's gonna finish cooking in here for 6 hours, but I don't want it to start. Um, that's my preference, nobody else's. And then this is some ground chorizo, just the chorizo that I cooked yesterday. And the chorizo, you do want to cook all the way through. Very simply because chorizo is a fatty meat and you do not want to let that coalesce. And you don't want all that grease and oil. I'm assuming you don't want all that grease and oil in your chili. I don't want it in mine. Then I'm going to I use two different kinds of kidney beans, mainly for color. I use a dark red, and I do not drain the can either. I just put it all in there. I don't put water in my chili because I'm not trying to make bean soup. And then I do the dark red and the light red kidney beans. You can also do black beans. You want a heartier bean that is not going to fall apart once the heat gets to it, because it's going to be sitting in the crock pot for about 6 hours on low. And this is some chopped garlic, just 2 cloves, just cut up, really good there. And of course, as you've noticed, I'm using every Southern mother's favorite disciplinary tool, the wooden spoon, to stir with. That is by design, I assure you. Now, if I can just get this without making too big of a mess. I apologize. I'm a little sidetracked right now. So anyway, then this is some onion that I hit the grater because my wife's not a big fan of biting in and getting crunchy onion in chili. So what I do is I put it in and puree it. Got my little food processor there, and it kind of takes care of things, if you know what I mean. Then what I'm going to do is just a can of tomato paste. Nothing overly special about it. And the reason I'm putting this in is because you want the tomato flavor, and you want something that's going to thicken up over time. And these things are a beast to clean out, for those who know. I am sure there's a better way to do it, but I don't know of what it is. And I know a lot of people are probably wondering, do you always talk when you cook? And the answer is, normally. Believe me, just ask my wife, I talk all the time. And I don't always talk when I cook. That's just me being a little humorous. No, I like to listen to music. I like to listen to podcasts, both of which I range all over the board. What I like? I enjoy Foo Fighters, Hellstorm, Lindsey Sterling, Evanescence, Garth Brooks, Beach Boys, Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of the other. That's just a regular bottle of beer. Nothing overly grandiose. You can use your favorite beer, and then you're going to want to give it a stir. Kind of mix all this up. Let it get good and mixed before you start putting your spices in. And the crock pot's still off. I have not turned on the crock pot yet. And part of that is because it would start cooking sooner And I don't want that. I don't want to worry about like the beef sticking to the bottom, or the beans getting stuck or whatever on bottom. So I'm just going to kind of mix that all up. I also like listening to a lot of podcasts. I think I'm a little bit, probably not surprising. I really enjoy, this is just some cumin and ground coriander that I am putting in. And then I'm going to stir that in. Because if you don't stir your spices in pretty quick, they're going to clump, and you don't want that. You don't want to just bite in and get that big brr in your mouth. That's not fun. It's not good mouthfeel, which really sounds gross, but is not, I think. I'm still not sure what it means. Podcasts that I like, though, I like Jensen and Holes, The Murder Squad. That's a good one if you're a true crime aficionado. This is going to be Chili Powder. I also really like Glass Cannon podcast, all the content they put out. They are fun to listen to, and they are a true play podcast. I don't play the game they play, but I really enjoy their hijinks and their camaraderie. Also, I like Hello from the Magic Tavern, which has been running for several years now, and I have just got on that bandwagon. This is salt, black pepper, and white pepper. And some people I know don't understand the salt because they can't taste it. The reason I like to put salt in here, it neutralizes the acid of the tomato. Kind of cancels it out, because you don't want, if you suffer from heartburn real bad, that sometimes is a good thing to put in. I mean, I could put a lot more salt and have it overpower everything, but that's also not really the point of the salt. I'm gonna put some brown sugar, which I know a lot of people don't understand. I'm not a big beer drinker. I like to cook with beer. I don't like to drink beer. And beer pairs really well with both chorizo and ground beef. But it leaves like a little bit of a bitter taste. I'm not a bitter guy. I don't drink coffee. I drink chocolate milk in the morning. I'm a grown man. I'm okay to admit that now. But I don't enjoy the bitter aftertaste that you get from it. So instead what I do is I put a little bit of brown sugar in that cuts that bitter out. Also, it adds a barbecue-esque quality without having to put barbecue sauce in. And these are just red pepper flakes. I like to put a little bit in, a little bit of spice. Also, not to mention like that oil, as it cooks in the crock pot, that oil is going to seep out and get into the everything really. Your beans are going to get it. You're going to get it with your meat, the chorizo. All those good spices are going to kind of come together and blend up. But they're also going to get a little bit of the heat. You're going to get a little bit of the flavor, for lack of a better word. So anyway, other podcasts I enjoy are the Not Alone podcast, as well as Astonishing Legends. Careful if you don't have a lot of time. Astonishing Legends can go down some long rabbit holes. I also listen to some other stuff. The Bridge. I listened to The Box for a while it was still airing new episodes. Jensen Hole Murder Squad. And then all variety of music. Now this is just plain marinara pasta sauce. You can use any pasta sauce you want. Pasta sauce with basil, mushrooms, 4 cheese, whatever. That is your call. And I'm putting it in because I like the tomato flavor that you get from it. It's also a little thicker than if you're putting water, because as this cooks, you're going to put the lid on it, obviously. But you've got to be careful, because you don't want it, excuse me, drying out or overcooking. Now, I will admit you may want to put a little less beer, a little less marinara if you're going to be using this exclusively for like hot dogs, because you're going to want it a little bit thicker, more of like a chili topping than a chili, like bowl of chili, soup style chili, I guess you'd say. So I've got all these whipped up. I have all stirred in. I've got everything ready to go. I'm going to put the crock pot on low. I'm going to cover it. I'm going to stand here for about 6 hours, wait for it to cook, stir every hour. So we'll see you in about 6 hours. I'm just going to stand here and take a real quick nap. So stay tuned. All right. Oh, somebody cleaned up. My wife must have been back. So this has been cooking for several hours now. Six hours. So I'm gonna give it another stir. Of course, my wife, while I was in the coma, was stirring as she cleaned up my mess, I'm sure. It looks good. Looks really good. And if you want it thicker than this, you just leave the top off, let the steam work, let the liquid evaporate out. If you want it a little spicier than what this is, you know, you can always throw jalapenos in. You can cut back the brown sugar. Again, instant nachos, tortilla chips, this, some cheese, you're done. Good on a hot dog, good on a hamburger, good on anything, because it's chili. So, I will be back in the kitchen performing mad science soon. I don't know what I'll be doing, and neither do you. So, join by and we'll both be surprised.